Hello everyone, welcome to Life with Lo. It is your host Leanne. So glad you're back here. Today it's all about health. Today the topic is taking your power back, learning more about your body, understanding it in a whole different way that you've been taught so far. So our guest today is Gary Parent. Gary is someone I've met recently and has completely changed my life. He's a holistic teacher, an author as well, and just someone that is passionate about what he's doing and has been changing so many lives. I guess before we get into it, Gary, just give a little introduction about yourself.
Well, I grew up not being able to read or write, and I had 4 businesses, and I was actually a sign painter who could not read or write, and I did work all over the world in different languages. Got divorced, couldn't run businesses anymore. Lived in my van for 6 years, taught myself to read and write, wrote my first book, got into energy work, which has brought us here.
Okay. So let's just first start off by just explaining what our body is.
Our body is...
Or what it's made up of.
Yes. Our body, no matter what part you're looking at or thinking of, is made of cells. And that is it. We're a bunch of cells and 2 major fluids. Those fluids are the blood and the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is 3 or 4 times bigger than the blood. Think of the blood as the kitchen. Okay? It brings nutrients and oxygen to the cells. Those cells eat that, and anything that eats eliminates. Poops, pees. And once it does that poop and that pee is acidic. So we need to have something that will go clean that up. That's the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is the bathroom. That's basically the body right there. How it functions after that is very simple too, but we might get into that later.
Okay, so that seems very simple.
It is. We're a bunch of cells, 2 major fluids, that's it.
Okay, so if it's something that simple, how does disease form?
Disease forms by the chemistry in our body. We are ruled by 2 sides of chemistry. And that chemistry is either alkaline or acidic.
Okay.
What the cells are eliminating and what we are eliminating through our urine and our poop is, and our cells are doing the same thing, is acidic. Think of a baby. You have a baby, has a diaper on, it goes to the bathroom in the diaper, and it doesn't get changed on time. What happens to the skin? It gets a red rash. Well, that's the acid in that urine and that poop that is burning the skin on a cellular level. And what do? We put things on it to alkalize it, to help it heal. And we change the baby more often.
Gotcha.
Okay? That is the same thing that's going on inside our body, only there are many times in the body that we can't feel that. Our body gets numbed into this acid burning process. So we don't know what's actually happening to us. But we know. We also know how to clean that up. And how to re-alkalize our body and get that working again. And those are simple processes too.
Gotcha. So if we have a disease or something's coming up in our skin that is just not normal, it's usually just an imbalance, if that's what I'm hearing correctly.
Yes, and I'm glad you said skin, because the kidneys filter the lymphatic system. That's where the kidneys, that lymphatic waste goes out through the kidneys. And a lot of the way we're taught, things are broken into different compartments, right? I call it pieces parts. What's interesting about that is our skin is our 3rd kidney. So if you have puffy skin, rashes, eczema, this is all a kidney issue. And it's about the acids being trapped under the skin. And a lot of people either oversweat kidneys, or they can't sweat at all, kidneys. Always go back to the kidneys. They are the key. 99% of all people that pass do not die from the disease written on the paper. They die because the kidneys are not functioning. The acid builds up in the body, burns you, and you die. So if your kidneys aren't working, you're gonna pass.
Okay, gotcha. So, what are the main steps? So how do we take our health back? So you're saying it's very simple. We're not taught this way, obviously. We usually put our lives in the hand of a doctor. So if I'm taking my control back, what do you suggest I start with? Or doing?
Proper hydration and live life-giving foods. Right now, we are taught to be on the bottom of the food pyramid. The bottom, if you do it in layers, red, which is the lowest vibrational frequency for the body, where parasites, yeast, mold, fungus live. And that's what they love, is that low vibrational frequency, right? So we're eating cooked food, and we're drinking pasteurized liquids.
Okay.
What's happening with those two things is they're very low vibration. So they bring the vibration of our body down. And as you go up the pyramid, those colors change, just like the chakras in the body, right? So through our diet and through the influence of television and all these different ads, we are taught to stay in the bottom two chakras, gut and primal, reproduction. And that's why everybody gets overcharged in that area. They get very emotional. And that is a low vibrational frequency, fear and anger, anxiety, stress. These are low frequency, low vibrational things. And it's only because we don't understand that there are higher vibrational foods, liquids, like live, life-giving foods and liquids. And we're not mixing that in with our cooked food. So because of that, we end up losing energy. We can't think straight. Our heart and our digestive system starts to lose its ability to process and to create the energy that we need to keep ourselves healthy. And we get our interstitial pathways, which each cell has a little interstitial pathway around it. The blood comes in, goes around, feeds the cell, and the lymphatic system, because this cell eliminates, and somebody said we have 1 trillion, I don't know who counted them, but you know, numbers are crazy. Because you can say anything. Some people say there's 70,000 cells, not 70,000, but 70 trillion cells. Some people say there's 100 trillion cells. The thing is, don't get caught up in the number. Realize they're there, they need to eat, they need to eliminate, and they need to be clean, just like we do. They even have a digestive system.
Wow.
Just like we do. They're little tiny mini us's. Okay? And we have to take care of them to let them be healthy. And the healthier they are, the healthier we are. The more energy they have, the more energy we have. You take an alkaline battery, right?
Yeah.
Considered one of the greatest batteries ever made, alkaline battery. When it loses its power, or I should say, what happens to it that makes it lose its power?
Being overused.
It becomes acidic. And the more acidic it gets, the less energy it has. And the less energy it has, it goes right down to its flat. You see it all the time in the human race. People are walking around, I hate to use the word zombie, but they're walking around, they can't function properly, they can't think, they can't process, and as above, so below. So if you're confused here, you're confused here.
Oh yeah.
And we are plant-based hydro, proper hydration, hydroelectric beings. We produce electricity, and when our factory gets congested or clogged, then we start to lose energy.
Wow.
And we can't think straight.
And that makes sense, because like you're saying, most of the foods that we're eating are acidic, so...
Yes, and they're low vibrational. Okay, and we need to take the food pyramid and flip it upside down. Because the fruits and the berries and the melons and the veggies, fresh, uncooked, are at the top, and they should be at the bottom. That should be most of our diet. And there was a time, like with wheat, grain, barley, things like that. When I was a kid growing up, if you had that in a storage bin, especially flour, sometimes you'd find bugs in there. You don't find bugs anymore because that food is dead. There is nothing in there left alive, because the less energy there is in it, the longer the shelf life is. And if I was a food manufacturer and my food was spoiling on the shelf, I'd want it to last as long as possible. But I want it to look exactly like it looked when it was alive. So they're creating all these breads and all these different things that aren't healthy for us anymore, because they're not alive anymore.
Yeah.
So, and there are breads out there, I can't remember the name of it now, but you start it, and 100 years from now, you're still working off that same bread. You just keep feeding it, and it keeps growing.
Oh my God.
And you just cut off a slice and make your loaf of bread out of it.
That's incredible.
And that's alive. I mean, that's a live product.
Wow.
Now the heat can kill some of that, but still. And this is my problem with it to begin with, is it's not alive. It's not as alive as it was. And our society's in so much trouble. We really need to get back to live foods.
And can you expand a little bit on, or give us examples of what live foods are and live liquids?
Yeah.
So we know.
So one of the products that I use and promote is the Master Cleanse.
Okay.
And you take one lemon, and we use a 32-ounce glass only jar, and you squeeze the lemon into. I usually squeeze it into a glass so I can pick the seeds out. But if there's any pulp, I leave it in there. At least there's a little bit of fiber.
Yeah.
But many people are so sick that it's best to just use plain squeezed lemon, and even take what little bit of fiber is in there, take it out. Because, well, okay, let me go back here. So we put that in, we put in maple syrup, and maple syrup has a lot of minerals in it. So that's why we use that. It is optional. We usually do between 1 and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. But really, it's the taste. Some people will need more, some people won't need any. So if you don't use it, not a big deal.
Okay.
Cayenne pepper, same way. We start with 1/10 of a teaspoon. It's optional. Some people like hot stuff, and they can use a lot, and some people don't like it at all, so you don't need to put it in there.
Oh yeah.
The reason it's in there is it helps to expand the cardiovascular system, and more blood can get to the cells, and when that happens, you get more nutrients and you get more oxygen flowing to the cells to help them recoup from that low energy that they're facing, because they're not getting the nutrients, oxygen that they need, and they're not getting the cleaning that they need.
Okay. And then any other live liquids that you recommend?
Coconut water.
Coconut water. Okay.
Yes. From a store, okay. It shouldn't be from concentrate though, because what they do is they take the coconut water and they open up, should get green coconuts. And what they do is they cut them, dump them in a vat, they clean it, and then they boil it to get the water out of it. And it becomes very dense, so when they ship it, they don't have to pay the extra weight in freight. Then when they get it where they want to get it to, they put water in it and rehydrate it.
Wow.
And who knows how much water they're putting in compared to what was taken out. So you could dilute that forever.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can, get green coconuts and right from the coconut, drink it from that. And that is the best live liquid for coconuts. There is apple cider vinegar, and you should buy the live apple cider vinegar. It'll say raw with the mother, and you'll see some sediment on the bottom of the bottle. That's what you want to see.
Okay.
The others are pasteurized, so any life that was in it, gone.
Sure.
They kill it. Why? It has a longer shelf. Okay.
And then what about teas?
Teas, and there are many other live liquids. Anything that's not pasteurized that you can drink is a live liquid.
Gotcha.
Okay. As far as herbs go, there are 4 that I recommend everybody start on: dandelion, nettle, cleavers, marshmallow root. Those are the ones that I have on my Facebook page, and those are great for kidney, liver, lung, and lymph. So that's what you want to do, is you want to get that lymphatic system activated, and you want to start flushing that out through the kidneys. So we have a test. You pee in a mason jar, set it on the shelf for 2 hours, more, whatever. You should see a sediment in that. And it'll either be on the bottom, or it could be on the bottom and floating inside, kind of like a snow globe kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And if there isn't, you're in trouble. I remember one time I had posted that on Facebook, and this nurse said, "I've been a nurse for 30 years. I have never seen sediment in anybody's urine." And I said, perhaps that's why they're there to see you, because that's why they're sick. Their body is not filtering.
Exactly. Wow.
And that's what the kidneys are for. When you go on a dialysis machine, it's filtering the blood, right? And it's doing the lymphatic system's job. Now, the danger in that is whatever you substitute in the body, instead of helping it strengthen and rebalance itself, like with dialysis, your body will stop filtering it. Because it can't filter it twice. So the longer you're on dialysis, the harder it is to get your kidneys to come back, because they've stopped working at all.
Whoa.
And that's what most American Medical Association things do. You take a synthetic testosterone, let's say, okay? They have a hard time to balance it, because the body's producing, might not be enough, because the body's out of balance, but as you start taking it, it's either producing and what you're taking is too much and you get ill, or it's not enough and they have to up the dose. Well, as they up the dose, the body is stopping producing, so they have to do more and more and more until the body's not producing any testosterone at all, and the whole thing is a supplement. And when you try to get off that, which a lot of fighters and bodybuilders are doing, they're taking a lot of it, and they have to pass a test, just like you do with steroids. They have to pass a test to have it normal, so they stop taking it a few days before the fight, or whatever they're doing, competition, right? And if they're over, they can't fight, because their body is, it's like on supercharge. And this has happened many times in the fight world.
Wow. So essentially your body's trying to balance it out.
Yes, but once you get to the point where the body stops producing, just like the kidneys, getting it to work again is not easy, because it's so far out of balance.
Oh yeah.
Thyroid medication, same thing. I mean, no matter what you do, no matter what the medication is, you're replacing what the body is normally doing. And the turmoil or the turbulence that you're feeling, getting adjusted to the medication, is finding where that is replacing what the body's not producing. So you're going up and down like a yo-yo on this particular path, where if you just use proper hydration, nutrients, and herbs, the body would balance itself out.
Wow.
all on its own. That's its job. That's what it does. The body will literally kill you to keep your blood alkaline.
Wow.
And we see it all the time. It's scary. And it's because you don't know that you're dehydrated. But that's what it is.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing is, so our body has an intelligence of its own. It knows what to do and what to do for you. So if we're doing live liquids and live food, can our body restore itself from a disease or something that's going on with our skin?
Yeah, as long as your kidneys are filtering, yes.
Okay.
Because that's the problem. You're not filtering. So these acids are building up and it's going to the weak cell. And when it goes to the weak cell, it burns a hole through the outside of it, and the acid goes inside the cell, and it starts to destroy it. And then all of a sudden it'll start duplicating. And that duplication is faster than the cell's normal ability to reproduce itself, so it starts to grow what we know as a tumor. All a tumor is lymphatic waste. A tumor is not cancer. A tumor is a symptom of distress or dis-ease in the body from acid. That's how simple it is. And when you get the kidneys aren't filtering. So when you get the kidneys filtering, it starts draining that. And we have herbs that do upper circ, brain and nerve. We have a host of herbs that are unbelievable for helping your body get going. But you have to get those kidneys filtering. And one of my friends, I had never met this person, sick for 10 years, had lost her menstrual cycle, bedridden for 2 years. She was at the point where she couldn't even cut her own food.
Wow.
Okay? Because the battery had drained itself. Because there wasn't anything in there that was alive to help regenerate her energy. So she was on all kinds of medications, sleeping pills for 16 years. She wasn't even 38 when I met her. 16 years of sleeping pills that were very addictive. So I started working with her. We found each other on Facebook. And she was in North Dakota and we're in Rhode Island. Well, through the process of helping her understand her body and how it worked, she started doing live liquids and herbs. In 6 months, she was back to work. A year and a half or 2 years later, we met for the first time in Maryland. She flew from North Dakota to Maryland to meet us.
Wow.
And she is now a teacher sharing this information on Facebook. Wow.
I hope you are hearing this and I hope you understand what he just said. That is incredible.
And it's happening all over the world. I was working with a woman the other day and I had mentioned some different live liquids or live foods. And she goes, we don't have much of that here. I'm like, where are you? She goes, Zimbabwe. I'm like, Zimbabwe. Okay. Because it's like you're talking to them in your living room. You know how far away. I worked with a woman in the Ukraine.
Whoa.
And it's fun. It's fascinating. Helping people understand their body and how simple it is. You know. But we've divided everything, and the medical system has divided everything in so many different directions and pieces that we forget it all works together. Okay? One of my favorite things to talk about is the digestive system because it's key to everything. So in the digestive system, when we eat, our stomach expands, and because of the predigestion of the saliva, it knows, it's like a little signature marker, right? It knows what enzymes to send in because it knows what it has to digest. Well, it also contacts the liver to contact the gallbladder, and the gallbladder is a storage place for the bile that the liver makes. And when signaled, it sends bile in, which helps in the digestion, especially heavy fats. And in that process, it gets what it needs out of the food, and it keeps you healthy, and it keeps you eliminating properly. When that gets out of balance, then you start to have issues, and that's when your real issues start. So I do iridology, so I read people's eyes, And every cell and every nerve in your body is in the iris of your eye. And when I look at your body, it's split right down the middle. And we have a left half and a right half. Left kidney drains the left side, right kidney drains the right side. And when you stop and think about that, if the kidney on the right side stops, this is when you can develop cancer on that side of your body, and the other side doesn't have any cancer. And opening that kidney up will drain that lymphatic waste out of there, because that's all a tumor is. You've heard, I don't know if you've heard this story, but a lot of people have. My dog saved my life. It came up and it kept pushing against my ribs, and finally I went to the doctor and I had a tumor. What does a dog love to smell? Pee and poop. And that's what that tumor is. So they're not there because there's a tumor and they're warning you. They're there because it's pee and poop and they love it. And they keep pushing on it. And you're like, what is wrong with that dog? Okay? And that's how simple that is.
Wow.
And will every dog do that? No. But the ones that do, the owner of the dog thinks the dog saved their life, when actually all he was doing was smelling pee and poop.
Wow.
So again, that's another barrier we need to break down. That animals are much smarter than we are. And we think too much and we feel too little.
Wow.
So we have paralysis analysis. Or, yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's so many things, but they're all so simple.
Yeah.
You know, if you put live food, live body, dead food, dead body.
Wow.
Nowhere in life does death promote life. And if you're eating all these dead foods like we're trained to do, then you're going to have issues.
Wow.
And what are you going to get when you go to a doctor? You're going to get tests and drugs.
Always.
And what do drugs do? They lower the vibrational frequency of the body. And they hide the symptoms that are trying to tell you that your body is in trouble.
Yeah. The intelligent body telling you something is wrong,
Right.
And then you're suppressing it.
Right. And what we've lost is our ability to communicate with our body. Our body speaks to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
That's what an ache or a pain is. I got an issue over here, why don't you help me take care of it?
Yeah.
And all our job is to give the body what it needs so that it can take care of itself.
Yeah. And be able to listen to it and not,
Yes.
when something's going on, listen to what it's telling you.
Right. We have to get past our addictions. You know, there are parasites that live in our body. You probably would not live if they weren't there. But when we get an overgrowth of those, then we start to have issues. And a parasite lives in a very acidic environment. And if you're eating acidic food, it keeps growing and growing and growing. And you get sicker and sicker and sicker. And you start to lose your charge because it's low vibration.
Yeah.
So as we start to put live foods in our body and we start to wake it back up again, all of a sudden our energy comes back. We think clearer, we speak clearer, we see different. Everything changes. And that is such an amazing thing to have happen. The first time I did the cleanse, the master cleanse, was around 2000. I'd been wearing bifocals since I was 6, somewhere around 6, 7. And I remember in a cellular memory, I could feel my eyes change that day. And I went from no glasses to double vision glasses.
Whoa.
7 days into the cleanse, I've never worn glasses since. And what I found out, probably 2 years ago now, is that your eye fluid is lymphatic fluid. So when it gets acidic, it changes the pressure in your eye, glaucoma, changes the pressure in your eye, and your eye actually expands. It can go this way, or it can go longer, farsighted, nearsighted. And when you alkalize your body, you alkalize that fluid, the eyeball will go back to its normal size and your vision will return.
Incredible.
Is that wild? I'm like, really?
Wow. I'm not even sure if my eye physician knows that.
No, they don't. No, they don't know that. And they're not going to know that because they're trained to shut that whole conversation off.
Yeah.
You know, I used to have a lot of trouble with my gums, and I had 6 abscesses at one time, and when I did the cleanse, everything completely healed. My gums were tight, they were pink, there was no bleeding, there was no nothing. No abscesses, I've not had that issue since. So I go back to my doctor, and I had lost about 20 pounds in that 10 days. So I go back to my dentist, and he looks at my mouth and he goes, "What have you been doing?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Your gums, I've never seen them look this good." I started to explain it, his eyes got real big, and then they went back to sleep, and we've never talked about it since.
Oh man.
You know, what is a cavity? You know, because a cavity rots your tooth, right? Well, what is it? Why does it do that? It's a fungus, and it's eating the cells.
Wow.
And you can eliminate that fungus and stop that decay, and as you do, when your body gets stronger, that tooth will repair itself. Ever heard that from your dentist? No, you have not heard that from your dentist, and you're not going to hear it from your dentist.
Oh my God.
Because they do root canals, and they do surgeries, and they do all these different things, right?
They're in the business of making money.
Yes. Whereas if you hydrate your body with live, life-giving liquids and foods, and you can have cooked foods. We need to feed our emotional body, but we're overfeeding that, and we're underfeeding all our other bodies.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. So, but I'm glad that you're doing this so that we can get this word out to more and more people. And trust me, you will have so many people that don't believe it because they're trained to overthink and to overdo, and they're on the chemical side of things. And we're not chemical. Almost all medications are petroleum based. Well, we don't drink petroleum. We don't eat petroleum. If we do, we get sick. So these medications are masking the symptoms and not addressing the core issue. You can take a tumor out, but the acid that created it is still there. So it's going to come back.
Sure.
You know, the next to acid in the body, 2 things create cancer. Chemo and radiation. So it may kill what's there, but within 5 years, most people that will return, unless they address the core issue, which is acid. It's the diet. It's always been the diet. You know, I don't know how the American Medical Association got so far off, because their slogan is Hippocrates' slogan. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. Okay? That's how they originally started. They are so far off that now, it's not even funny. They don't even talk about diet. You can go to school as a doctor for 12 years, and in that 12 years you'll have 4 hours of nutritional training.
Wow.
So it's really, it's horrifying what the system is doing to the people.
Yeah, what's going on?
It's always profit over people. And there's probably some things that I shouldn't get into, so.
Okay. Yeah.
So is there anything else?
No, I think that's it for now. I think we've given them a lot, a lot to think about and digest.
And don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Just go with how your body feels. Now there could be some turbulence, because this is one of the reasons my main focus is open up the kidneys. If you start breaking toxins out of the tissue of the body faster than it can eliminate it, it's either going to come out through the skin or it's going to cause all kinds of turmoil.
Sure. Yeah.
So slow and steady wins the race.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gary.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys. I will add Gary's information to the bottom of the video, his Facebook. You can check him out because he is amazing and he posts all the time. So a lot more information in detail on his page. Bye, guys.
Bye.